Hello and welcome to On the Wrist. Today we're going to talk about my Oris Big Crown Pointer Date 80th Anniversary Edition. This is my favorite variant of the Big Crown series, and what drew me to this watch is this deep green dial along with the bronze case. But more on that in a minute. So Oris is a brand that started in 1904 in Holstein, Switzerland. This is a brand that predates Rolex and has survived the quartz crisis and has been really making a lot of great looking watches in the recent past as well as the long reaching past. This model here, the Big Crown model, is one of their most popular and most long lasting lines. Originally manufactured in 1938, this Big Crown model was made as a pilot's watch to make it easier for pilots to read the dial. You can see the incredible legibility there, as well as adjust the date. You might guess from that large or the big crown. It's easy enough so that if you're wearing aviation gloves, you can still operate the crown and change the date and time. Let's go over the technical specs before we dive into the dial and the details. This watch is 40 millimeters in diameter, a very well-sized watch for most wrists. It's 12 millimeters thick, so perfect for dressier occasions, very slim to the wrist, not too large. The lug to lug is 47 millimeters, so it's fairly tight on the wrist and fits nicely, but the lugs are still quite well proportioned compared to the dial. A little longer than some, but it really highlights this bronze material. The movement is the Oris 754, which is a base Stellita SW 200-1, modified to include their pointer date feature you can see there. It has 50 meters of water resistance, or 5 bars, so not something you would take swimming, but something you can get wet without too much fear. The lug width is 20 millimeters. The crystal is a domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating inside and out. Quite a nice dome. The hands, as well as the markings there at each of the 5-minute increments, have Superlume C1/C3, which you can see here. This is actually quite bright in person, and frequently as I'm going to bed I see it glowing on my desk. The straps are a quick release brown leather. On the back here we have a stainless steel back. Now the reason for that is bronze is a material that oxidizes, which we'll get into more in a minute, but it's not compatible with everyone's skin. Some people have allergic reactions to bronze, or in late stages of the oxidation, there can be almost a greenish material that can come off and irritate your skin. So the stainless steel case back eliminates that reaction and makes it very comfortable and safe to wear on the wrist. You can see there that gorgeous red rotor for custom Oris. On this exhibition case back, it is a mineral crystal, which is a bit disappointing considering the price point, which we'll talk about later. And that's not uncommon for Orises. It surprises me that it is a mineral crystal, but I don't know what had them make that choice. It says there on the side sapphire crystal, but that is only for the front. The Oris manufacturer website will confirm that the crystal here is mineral. Before we take a deeper dive into the details of this dial, let's check the time quickly. It looks like it's time to like and subscribe. Subscribing will let you get a notification every time I put out a new video, like the video I put out last week for this watch, the Christopher Ward C60 Sapphire, which is an incredible watch that has a sapphire see-through dial you see there with a thin layer of blue polycarbonate to give it that deep sapphire look. If you want to get more information about this watch, I'll link to the review in the description below, as well as a link above. Subscribe and be sure to stay up to date with all the videos for these cool watches that I'm reviewing. Let's take a closer look at this dial. So now, what really drew me to this watch is the combination of the bronze case with this shade of green. I just think this shade of green is enchanting. It is so beautiful to look at, and it's so warm when paired with the bronze case as well as the brown strap. I've never been attracted to pilot watches, except for this one. It is just so easy to read, but it's not oversized like a lot of other pilots' watches. You can read this from anywhere in the room so much information is kept on it, but the design is so clean. The hands are that gorgeous bronze color themselves, and then when they catch the sunlight, it's spectacular. It just makes it so easy to read, and also it's just a gorgeous color. There's a nice splash of the red on the pointer date hand there that, again, improves the legibility, but also it adds some depth to the dial, adds some variation, draws the eye, but doesn't disrupt the overall design aesthetic, and is a really beautiful feature. The outside of the bezel is a sunken coin edge pattern. Very interesting to look at, just something different that you can tell from afar that this is a really high quality watch. The bronze material here, you can see I already have what's called a patina developing. A patina is the outside layer of the material that has reacted to moisture, oils from the skin, anything that touches it causes the top layer of bronze to oxidize. You can see there, here's the oxidation, and closer to there where there's more contact, you can see what the regular bronze looked like. Also here on the corners where more contact happens, or down there where there's not as much typical contact, and on the crown too. It's aged nicely as I've worn it. And that's one of the things that makes bronze a very interesting material on a wristwatch. It's something that as you spend more time wearing the watch, the color of the watch slightly changes. It becomes a truly personalized watch just by wearing it. Some people go as far to do things as putting them in chemical baths to encourage the patina to develop faster. You can also remove the patina if you like the original bronze color with a couple different methods that aren't too challenging to do yourself. But I personally like that this develops with me and that this really is my watch. It's something that, 10 years from now, it will be more developed. It'll have probably a greener hue, but it's something that's traveled with me and gone through the same experiences that I have. So I really like that aspect of bronze. Plus, the color combination with the green dial is just a knockout. Let's get a couple shots on the wrist. For reference, my wrist is 7¼ inches in diameter, and I've found that 40 millimeters is really the sweet spot for me. It's the spot that feels very comfortable on the wrist. Lugs don't extend over my wrist, and there's still some space, so it doesn't feel too large or too small. It really is the sweet spot. And the thickness fits under any dress cuff at 12 millimeters thick, so really easy to wear, very pleasant, and can be worn with a whole variety of different outfits. One thing to note on the strap, there's not, for me, a good spot between strap holes to get a really comfortable fit. It's comfortable in this position, but there is a lot of play. I've toyed with the idea of putting a different strap on there, but I just love this color of strap and how thick the Oris straps are that come with this watch. So it's been hard for me to decide what I would want to wear besides this strap. Fun fact, the buckle is also a bronze material, but they do supply a stainless steel buckle in case that little contact between the buckle and your skin causes irritation. Let's take a look at it outside. Here you can see in some direct sunlight. The sunlight makes the green look a little paler than it is in the indoor lighting, but it's still a very interesting shade of green, and it's kind of nice how dynamic that is in different lightings. You can see there the bronze outer outlines on the seconds, hours, and minute hand, really popping and making it just so easy to read and such a beautiful watch. Oris watches, when purchased from an authorized dealer, come with a 2-year factory warranty that can be extended to 3 years if you register your product online. MSRP of this watch. Currently on the Oris website, these retail for $2,100. That's quite a hefty price tag for a watch. Unlike a lot of the other watches I review, a lot of what you're paying for with this watch is the brand name. This Oris is a historical Swiss manufacturer, so their name has a bit of price attached to it. These specs for this watch are similar to the Chris Ward or the Formex that I purchased, but you can see the price tag is significantly greater. So this is really entry-level luxury, it's called, for Swiss heritage. And really, you're paying for the brand. And I also want to call it the fact that they're using a mineral crystal back, which seems like a really poor choice, and I still can't get over that. So as far as value goes, this isn't what I would call a great bang for buck value watch. This is a watch that I really enjoy, and I think visually is just out of this world. But as far as value for what you're paying, unless you get this at a reasonable discount, a lot of the value you're paying for is the brand name Oris. Now, there are a bunch of other Oris pointer dates in regular stainless steel, a variety of colors, a variety of other different special editions that have a range of prices that are much cheaper. But this particular model, the 80th anniversary, is a little pricier. It should be noted that this is the 80th anniversary edition. It is not a limited edition, and I couldn't find any information about whether it was a limited year of production. So this watch isn't numbered. It's I would say a special edition, but not limited. So these are pretty easy to come by at any Oris authorized dealer. While the MSRP is $2,100, there's a little bit of wiggle room for negotiation. A lot of Oris retailers will be able to offer around 15% off, maybe more, if you're buying it new. If you're going gray market or used, you can find these around $1,500 to $1,600 in very good condition. So you definitely have some options when it comes to purchasing. For a watch this expensive, I did go to an authorized dealer. I was able to actually get a fairly good price for it, very close to gray market or used, so I felt comfortable buying it from them. Some closing thoughts. This watch really captured my attention. It was something that I was scrolling through a bunch of different watch pages on the forums, and I saw this and stopped. This green dial with the bronze case just really captured my imagination. I had kind of been interested in bronze watches because it was an interesting and unique material, but it wasn't until I saw this that I knew I really wanted one. Especially, I'd always discounted Pilot watches to begin with, but the look of this dial, how clean it is, how well executed all the design features are, I just couldn't say no. Bronze, as I mentioned earlier, is just a really interesting material with the fact that it ages, it oxidizes, and grows with you. I think that is really cool and means it's something that I can pass on to my kids, or it's just something that through my life experiences will age with me and will change as I change. So that was something that I thought was a bit of a romantic idea with a watch, but it really appeals to me. And I think it's something that makes this watch unique in my collection and stands out from normal watches, being such an irregular material. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to leave a comment down below if you have any questions or just want to talk about watches. I'd love to hear from you. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Subscribing gets you access to all my videos as soon as they come up, so please be sure to hit that red button. This has been On The Wrist. Thank you for watching.